I was very fortunate, you know, my final 4 years in the league to play for Al Davis. And, you know, as a defensive lineman, to put on the silver and black and to play in the black hole and what that really represents, it's just that gritty, that toughness, the mentality that it takes. And, as a player, is no other franchise that I'd rather play for.
I got in a little skirmish, you would say, with a baboon.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
I always wanted to be like Bo Jackson because I love baseball and football so much. I'm playing MLB and then I'll play football too.
Raider Nation, what's going on? It is time for an all-new episode of Raiders Talk of the Nation. I am your host, Sibley Scoles, and I'm joined by the one and only Richard Seymour in the building.
Thank you so much.
Alumni and now minority owner of the team.
No, thank you so much.
Is that a good feeling?
It's a milestone achievement. I always want to hear it again.
Alumni and minority owner, now minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes,
it's a good
it's no other
ring.
franchise. I'll tell you what, as a defensive lineman, to wear the silver and black, and I remember when we played in the black hole, it meant so much, the rich history, the guys that came before us, the legacy, Al Davis, just how iconic the franchise has always been, and now to be a part of it. It's time to get back to our winning ways.
Absolutely. We're going to get into that. But we got to start from the beginning.
Yes.
Take me back to SC. Take me back to that kid growing up, where you came from, and what that was like for you.
Yeah, no, I always tell everybody all the time, I had a great childhood growing up. My dad was, I worked with my dad in the summer, so he really taught me the values of hard work, of discipline, of having your word mean something. And my mom, I got the nurturing and loving side from my mom. So I always tell everybody I had a great balance.
Best of both worlds.
I had the best of both worlds, truly. And I think it really molded me, just to, even as I, as a dad, as a husband, having girls, having boys, I need to be well-rounded.
Yes. Now I can handle all of this.
Yes. No,
how many
certainly.
kids do you have?
So we have four.
Four kids.
Yeah, 2 boys, 2 girls.
That's a good size family.
Yeah, but I will say this: the girls, it's 2 girls, but it feels like it's 4 to 5.
We have big personalities.
Yes,
okay?
I love it though. I love it.
Keep
I love
you on
it.
your toes.
Yes, no, they certainly do. Keep me young.
Yes.
Yes.
As a kid, are there any standout moments? I know you said obviously mom and dad together made you and created such a great life for you, but were there any standout moments and also bringing you into the football love and where that came from?
Yeah, well, I will say this, and a lot of people don't know it, but I started playing football in high school. I know like a lot of kids started in Pop Warner. I played all other sports, but I remember I said it in my Hall of Fame speech when my mom first took me to tryouts in high school. I looked when we got there, I saw some guys and they looked like they had full beards, and I said, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm not playing football, but I did start playing in the 9th grade, and football was always huge in our family. Like my uncles played, my dad played. I always loved the game. But I didn't play until high school. So I always tell everybody what God has in store for you is for you. Just stay the path, stay the course. And
that's the right time.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that, certainly.
Absolutely, because like you said, a lot of kids are playing 3 years old, 4 years old, 5, just ready to go. But listen, it worked out the right way.
It certainly did.
What is your one thing that you could point out about football that you fell in love with?
I'm a competitor. I think at the end of the day, I love to compete. I think that's one of the things that has always driven me in my life. No matter what it is, I always want to compete and be the best, always trying to find ways to get better. And then I love team sports. I love to, anytime you have something in life, you always want to share it.
Yeah.
And, I think that's the beauty in team sports. You get to, go through the grind together. Think about, training camp, everything that it takes, and, to go throughout the season. And I've been very fortunate in my career that I was able to hoist that Lombardi trophy, several times,
Yes.
Team success, personal success. And, now I look at this as, being an owner in the NFL, I want to carry on that legacy and just be a part of bringing that rich, winning ways and tradition that, I've built my career on.
Jump back to the Lombardis. You said just tell the people how many.
Yeah, no, I have 3 Lombardis. Been named All-Pro.
Yeah.
But I think in this game, I think that's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Is hoisting that trophy. The game means so much, and like I said, to do anything that you love and to share it people that you have worked so hard with throughout the season, or
Right.
wherever it comes from.
Yeah.
That's the pinnacle.
So on our current roster, we got a fellow Bulldog, and
Yes.
he is crushing it
Nah,
this
he
season.
is.
Brock Bowers.
Yes.
What do you see in him as a player, and how excited are you to see what he's done so far on that field?
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to see him up close and personal for all of his years at Georgia, because my wife and I, we're donors to the university, and so we always go back and support, my dogs.
Yes.
And so just having an opportunity to see him up close and personal for the last 3 years there, I've seen a guy that, again, is a competitor. He loves football. He's all about football. None of the fluff stuff. He just wants to work and win. And I think it's important to have a lot of guys like that on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more guys you have like that, obviously they won't be as talented as him, all of them. But, that's the goal at
Right.
the end of the day. But
Yeah.
he's a dog, and he's crushing it, It's bright future.
It's cool that you've seen him, though, from
Yeah.
those years and still
Yes.
watching him now.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Let's get into playing for Oakland.
Right.
Are we ready for that? You know I'm from the
Absolutely.
Bay, so I
The
want to
Bay
talk to you
Area.
about this because I've
Yes.
seen the games, I've watched, I was there.
Yes.
The name, Al Davis.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Legendary, maverick. He, just the nostalgia of Al Davis, and what he meant to not only the Raiders but to the league in general,
Football, yeah.
to football in general. Like he's, owner, coach, commissioner, you name it, but. He was a guy that you wanted to win for. Players always wanted to play for. Even if they were on other teams, they always had so much respect,
Yeah.
for Al Davis. And, I was very fortunate, my final 4 years in the league to play for Al Davis. And, as a defensive lineman, to put on the silver and black and to play in the black hole and what that really represents, it's just that gritty, that toughness, the mentality that it takes. And, as a player, is no other franchise that I'd rather play for.
I was going to say, I know the transition going there to any team when anyone goes somewhere else, somewhere
Right.
different. You hear about something, but once you're in there, it feels like this was the perfect fit for you.
No, it certainly was. I remember, when Al Davis traded for me, it took a few days to work through the business,
Yeah.
because it is a business at the
Right.
end of the day. And I respect all players and, what they have going on. But one thing was for sure is that, I was going to be ready to play. And I still remember it that Monday night when I came from New England. Obviously, it was a Monday night game. We were playing against the San Diego Chargers. And I still remember, and I hadn't even seen all of my teammates at that time
Okay.
because I came in a few days late. But I remember prior to that game, I remember they were looking at me to give the pregame speech. And mind you, I never had met a lot of my teammates at that time.
Okay.
But I remember being passionate about telling my guys, we have to block out the noise. It doesn't matter what the media thinks. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. We need to go and play with a type of passion that burns inside. And I just, it was just in the moment, you
naturally
just
came
feeling
out.
it, and I just remember we went and played our hearts out. You know, unfortunately we lost like late in the fourth quarter, but I saw what I needed to see, and from that moment we just all bonded, as a team. And I think it was either that year or the year after we ended up sweeping the division, which was a huge milestone and a huge accomplishment. So, yeah.
The city of Oakland,
Yes.
the fans, Raider
Yes.
Nation.
Yes.
What was so special about that, and then just being in that locker room and walking out onto that field?
Football is a tough, gritty game that, it brings out the best in you. And like I said, as a competitor, you always want to play for fans that are just as passionate as you are, and they care just as much. And that's one thing that I've always identified with, no matter what walk of life you come from, Oakland fans, Las Vegas fans, Raider fans in general, all embody, that passion and that toughness. And then too, like, it's incorporating, the older generation, the guys that came before us, the legacy, the tradition, paying, respect to those guys, and really bridging that gap. And so, we understand, who and what they've done before us, and we don't want to let them down. We want to respect them and everything that they've done.
That respect level's high.
No, it certainly is.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about all of the greats that has put on the silver and black and worn this uniform, and then you just think about, what this stands for. I mean, it's an iconic franchises, in all of sports, not just football. I mean, it's one of the franchises that when you just say silver and black, everybody
Worldwide.
it's global.
Yeah.
It's a global brand, and to be a part of it, like I said, it's a milestone achievement, for me personally. And again, my only goal is to hoist the trophy, and so everybody can feel that here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we're ready for that.
I know.
We
I
are
am
ready
too. We all
for
are.
that.
We all are.
Did you have any influences in that locker room too? I mean, coming into that, or anyone that you looked to at that moment? I know you'd already accomplished so much, but going into there, knowing how special it was.
Yeah, well, I think I built so many great relationships that I still have to this day.
Yeah.
And it was a slightly different, because I learned so much early in my career. Really taught me what it meant to be a pro, and so I came here and it was like they were looking for me, so I was just able to give them and pass on that knowledge, and we built the bond, and they kept me young.
I like it.
And so that's why I said they kept me young, but it was great.
You like good trade-off.
It was a great trade-off. It certainly was. So yeah.
2011 year, the NFL lockout. You found a passion.
I did.
You did.
I have a couple of them. You can be specific on this one.
We'll be
Tell me.
specific.
Yeah.
Poker.
Yes.
How did that come about? Were you playing with your teammates? Was there what was that, and where did that come from, and when did you know?
Yeah.
I'm with
well,
this game?
again, like, I enjoy competing, and so it was just another way for me to compete, and I didn't have to beat up my body in doing it.
Right.
So
I can sit
it was,
here.
I can sit here, and now we can just be analytical and think through what is it going to take, and
Right.
I think I know what you're thinking, but do you really know what I'm, so it was just that. But here's the thing, it was so many correlations from the game of football to poker at the time, in terms of mental toughness, resilience. You got to be disciplined. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. So all of the qualities that I had learned as a player, I felt like it was just an easy transition over.
Yeah.
Now I don't have as much time to play as I would love to, but it was a fun hobby, and I enjoy the game.
I mean, you say hobby, but you pro? World
No.
Series of Poker?
Yeah. Well,
I've never done that. So it's not just...
yeah.
You were better than just playing. You weren't just playing. Well, here's the thing. It's just like anything. Like, I learned
the game of poker through some really good friends of mine, Jason
Yeah.
Kuhn, Ike Haston, Ben Tollerine. Like those guys are like the best in the world and really gave me the game just like my teammates, you know, all throughout my career has. And so, yeah, I've been very blessed and very fortunate. And, you know, like I said, it's just a fun hobby. The Raiders now.
Yes.
my
He's like, let's move on.
It's my main focus. It's my main focus.
Wait, are you good at chess then?
I do play. I'm not as savvy.
Because that takes a lot of.
No, it does. And here's the thing, like, so the chess has been solved. Poker hasn't been solved. And so you have so many layers and it's so many doors that can open. So as soon as you think you know, then you get into another realm. And it's like, I had no clue a year ago what I know now. And then you just keep growing with the game and it's just like unbelievable and so fascinating. And
If I ever do a charity,
I'm
if I play
in.
in one,
I
we go
would-
play together.
No, we'll be
Okay.
teammates.
Oh, there
we'll
you-
be teammates.
You heard it. It's happening. It's going down.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
Let's get to the part that we really want to ask you about being out there. I've seen you at so many games all the time here in Vegas. I always get to go up and see your family and
Right.
say hello.
Yes.
Thank you for being gracious
No,
to me.
no, certainly.
To be now minority owner of this team, of the franchise, and be a part of it, you've already explained, you know, a little bit of how that feels for you. But when you're out there on the field, this is a different game for you now.
No, it
So
certainly
how has
is.
that transition been?
Yeah, well, I'll say this for me personally, and I know what it means, right? But I think at the end of the day, I bring it back to wanting to win, and you want to build a winner, and you want to
Right.
have that. So I don't think about everything that comes with it. Like a lot of times I take it back to the basics and just being very fundamentally sound. Like at the end of the day, I know the fans want to win. I want to win. Players, coaches, like we all want to win. But I think, you know, it's obvious like we have to have the right leadership. You know, we have to have the right type of players. You know, I want guys that love the game of football. And I think it's important when you have enough of those guys with the right philosophy and the right mentality and mindset. Like that's really what it takes. And here's the other part. It's nothing like special in doing that. You need to build the team the right way with guys that love the game of football. And when you have enough of the right type of people around, that has toughness, that has grit, that is, you know, just the mental fortitude. I take a bunch of those guys than just a bunch of talented players.
Exactly.
Like, give me the guys with the passion that say, I won't be denied. And here's the thing, throughout my career, I was talented, but like I was willing to work. I was willing to put in the work. I was willing to grind. I was willing to be gritty, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then we need some big guys up front.
Yeah.
That you don't want to see them in a dark alley, too.
Right.
All of that helps.
It does, and I think there's something to say about too when you have a group of guys, girls, any sport or any job that you're doing, when they are gritty like that, and you really want to work and you care about, it turns into more cohesiveness.
No, it does.
Than it does when you have just like you said, like talented all-stars on here who are just
Certainly.
kind of floating through.
Yeah, no, and that's you want to have that right balance of the right type of people, and I'm a firm believer, that starts at the top, and you have to have that mentality. And I think we have a lot of the right pieces in place, and we're looking to do things the right way. And I think at the end of the day, you do things the right way, you treat people right, it's going to come back, and we're going to horse that trophy.
We are on the way, people.
Indeed.
Knowing the space that you're in too right now, what's it been like for that to happen? Because did you think as a player that you would be here at this moment, or does that even cross your mind? At what point did you say, I would like to be a minority owner in the NFL, and when did you decide, like, I think it needs to be the Raiders, because it didn't have to be?
Yes, well, I'll say this. I remember being on the field and, seeing some owners with their families. And I just got to thinking, even when I was playing, it was just I remember seeing the owners and they were with their families, and the kids were, running up and down the sideline. I would just say, like, man, how cool would that be for you and your family to have that opportunity
Right.
to, share in that and to be a part of the game that you love. And I just remember seeing that, and then, I set out on the journey to be able to accomplish it. And, there was a lot of hard work, and I built a lot of great relationships that, helped me, navigate. And, so for me, I'm super grateful for that. But I think at the end of the day, seeing that really inspired me, and that was just a goal of mine that I had even when I played, and I didn't know how I was going to accomplish it.
How that was going to look.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I never had a clue what it was going to look like, what franchise it was going to be, but I was fortunate that, the values that my mom and dad taught me growing up, I was able to, take all of the knowledge that I had and transition that, and, still looking to build upon it too.
Yeah.
So the story's not over.
Yeah, no, of course. Many more chapters and volumes
Yes,
to add to
no,
what you're doing.
certainly,
And you
certainly.
mentioned seeing a family when you were younger, like, first playing. It's cool. Like, again, when I see your family, I'm sure your kids are they looking at you as just dad, or are they impressed now?
They're not impressed. I know.
Why are
maybe
kids
maybe
never
my son, maybe my sons to a small degree, but my daughters, they're not.
They're not going to tell you
Yeah,
either,
they
by the way.
keep going, Dad. Okay, okay, great, thank you. All right, now they.
But they love you. They're
do.
proud of
No,
you.
no, certainly are. Certainly. Are.
Talk to me for a second, because he's obviously a fan favorite of everyone, again, who watches the Silver and Black, Maxx Crosby.
Oh wow.
As a defensive lineman, and just the connection that you two may have and what you've seen with him throughout his career.
Yeah, well, passion, grit, toughness. When we're talking about the type of guys that you want to have on the team, not only just talented, but loves the game, plays the game the right way, high motor, high intensity, team leader. Like, it's those type of guys you want to build around. And so, I just know as a player that I wish I had the opportunity to play together with 98.
That would have
been a lot of fun.
That would have been
a lot of fun. That would have been a lot of fun.
Did he ever come to you, or do you guys have those conversations of?
Yeah, no. We've had several conversations of just about, and a lot of it, it hadn't been nothing about technique. It hadn't been anything about, it was all mentality, what it takes, where we're trying to go, how we're trying to build this thing. And so, like, I think that's the beauty of having the right guys around, because his energy is that. And so, we just want to be able to, really put more talent around him to, let him lead that charge.
Yeah, absolutely. You see him post, and you always hear him talk in his post game and the pressers. He's that
Right.
1%er that people talk about.
Right. No. And that's
Yeah.
why I say, like, you can never have enough guys like him. And so
Yeah.
we just want to be able to put enough talent around him, and, I think we'll be able to do that.
Really quickly before we get out of here, last couple questions for you.
Let's do
I
it.
know you're a busy man. The culture of the Raiders, being here in Las Vegas now, a few seasons in, we're seeing what it's looking like. It's, the fan base, how things are changing game to game, figuring things out as we go, obviously.
Right.
Where do you see the culture going? The growth of Las Vegas as a fan base and just being here?
Right. Well, I'll say this. I think, it hadn't this season, been exactly what we wanted. But I think when you look at the team, we're always, in it. We always have high energy. We're always, fighting. And I think the winning will come. Like, I think it's the mindset and the mentality. I think the guys have that. It's just like this. you're a champion whether you win the Super Bowl or not, just about how you go about your business. The
Right.
standard is the standard.
How you show
And
up.
yes, exactly. And so, like, I've been, proud of the guys in the way that they played. And here's the other part. As a competitor and as a player, I don't care what the score says. At the end of the day, I still want to compete with the guy in front of me. And so, I think that's what it's all about, just having enough of those guys around. And here's the thing. I think we want to put a product on the field that all the fans can be proud of in Oakland, the fans here in Las Vegas. And so I think that's really important, and I think we're striving to make all of them proud.
Before we get out of here,
Mm-hmm.
a message to Raider Nation?
Raiders.
Drop the mic, plain and simple.
Yes.
Another episode down of Raiders Talk of the Nation. Richard Seymour in the building. You'll see him at all the games.
Yes,
Go over and say
yes.
hello. If you're on the field, right?
Yes.
If you get that access, go say hello. Thank you so
Please
much,
do.
sir.
No,
It's
thank
been
you
a
so
pleasure.
much. Indeed,
Raider
indeed,
Nation.
indeed.
Next episode coming at you after this. Thanks.